The world watches with bated breath. Global tensions are spiking. Nations are arming themselves with weapons of unimaginable power. The threat of nuclear war, once a distant nightmare, feels increasingly real. Many wonder, is a large-scale nuclear conflict on the horizon? We live in a world of complex alliances and simmering rivalries. Disputes over territory, resources, and ideology stoke the flames of conflict. The threat of terrorism and the rise of nationalism add fuel to the fire. Adding to the volatility, many nations possess nuclear weapons. These countries continue to modernize their arsenals. Each technological leap makes the prospect of nuclear war more terrifying. The potential consequences of a nuclear war are too grave to ignore. We must examine the factors that could lead to such a catastrophe. Understanding the risks is the first step to preventing this unthinkable outcome. Technology, a double-edged sword, has brought us to this precipice. Advancements in nuclear weapons technology are truly frightening. Missiles are faster, more accurate, and deadlier than ever before. The development of hypersonic missiles is a game-changer. These weapons can evade traditional defense systems. This creates a climate of fear and uncertainty. Nations feel pressure to strike first, rather than retaliate. Cyber warfare adds another layer of complexity. Attacks on critical infrastructure such as power grids or communication systems could cripple a nation. This vulnerability might tempt an adversary to launch a nuclear strike. The increasing reliance on artificial intelligence, AI, in warfare is particularly alarming. AI-controlled weapons systems raise serious ethical and practical concerns. The risk of accidental escalation or miscalculation is heightened with AI in the mix. A nuclear war would be an unparalleled catastrophe. Its immediate impacts are horrifying to contemplate. Millions would perish in the initial blasts. Countless more would succumb to radiation sickness and other long-term effects. The devastation would not be confined to the warring nations. Radioactive fallout would spread across the globe, poisoning the air, water, and soil. The environmental consequences would be catastrophic, potentially triggering a nuclear winter. Global food production would collapse, leading to widespread famine. Healthcare systems would be overwhelmed. Governments would struggle to maintain order in the face of such chaos. The long-term consequences of a nuclear war are equally grim. Generations would suffer from genetic mutations and birth defects. The social and economic fabric of civilization would be shredded. Rebuilding, if possible, would take centuries. History is replete with examples of the horrors of war. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945 serve as stark reminders of the devastating power of nuclear weapons. These events must never be forgotten. The Cold War, with its constant threat of nuclear annihilation, demonstrated the fragility of peace. The Cuban Missile Crisis, in particular, brought the world perilously close to the brink. It was a stark reminder of the dangers of brinkmanship and miscalculation. The collapse of the Soviet Union did not eliminate the nuclear threat. In fact, it may have made the world more dangerous. The proliferation of nuclear weapons to more countries increases the risk of accidental or intentional use. The lessons of history are clear. War is a dangerous and destructive force. Nuclear war in particular is a gamble with the very survival of humanity. We must find a better way forward,